work with the Habitat International Coalition, and I facilitate the Urban Food Insecure constituency in the CSIPM. We want to start by thanking you, the rapporteur, and express our appreciation for the HLEP report, which should be the basis of the zero draft of the policy recommendations. And for this aspect, we would like to highlight 4 main points that we are bringing forward. And the first one is on the issue of healthy diets, accessibility, both physically and economically. And in terms of production, we emphasize that healthy diets have to be produced agroecologically using natural inputs. And also in terms of distribution, we emphasize for local farmers, territorial markets, community gardens and urban gardens, and also access to land for food production. And this should work to address malnutrition and processed food through these innovative solutions from a social perspective as well. We again like to highlight the importance of rural-urban linkages and the importance for producers to have access to productive resources, and also for producers to have access to markets for food sale. So in this way, working with the producers and creating markets for them, for the consumers to access healthy and affordable food. The other point we would like to highlight is strengthening the role of local governments in urban and peri-urban food systems and the need to support them, particularly through resources to implement the urban and peri-urban food system policies. The functions that we give local governments, they have to be followed by funds. Otherwise, having very nice policies without resources to follow up on implementation will create a weak chain in this. And we also emphasize for local governments, national governments to be connected to global processes for connection of urban and peri-urban food system policy recommendations. Because sometimes we have seen gaps, we have good policies, but they are not translated to the local area. The other thing, in regards to local government, we call upon for local governments to encourage participation of the people in their governance processes by involving people in policy formulation, including in diagnosing the public agenda to know the problem and take up the solutions that are already done with the people and put them in the policies to formalize them and popularize them. And we appreciate the HLEP report. It was very strong on democratic multi-level governance. So we take pride in this HLEP report in regards to that. The other issue CSIPM is bringing to the table is the issue of inequalities in urban areas. We understand that urban population is not homogeneous, and it becomes important to employ various lenses to be able for our policies to be targeted to our respective beneficiaries. One lens that we are bringing to the table is the issue of income lens. We have different levels of income. We have the destitute, low income, middle income, and the high income. And we want our policies to be inclusive across all income levels. Also employing the issue of gender, we have men, women, and also households in urban areas that are women-headed, and they have differentiated access to affordable and healthy food. It becomes important to employ this lens of intersectionality also. In addition, the lens of age, we also call upon to expand the lens of age. It is usually presented binary, youth and adults, but as CSIPM, we want to include all age groups, starting with infants, children, teenagers, youth, adults, as well as the elderly, because they have different levels of vulnerability. And when we employ this intersectionality, our policy will be well targeted and respond to their needs and priorities. Now coming to the fourth point, and really the interconnecting thread on this, is the issue of employing human rights-based framework and making these rights explicit in policy recommendations is essential to combat marginalization and discrimination, ensuring dignified living conditions for all urban residents and urban and peri-urban food producers, as well as consumers. The right to food is not in isolation, but it is connected. For full realization of the right to food, it is interconnected with other rights such as right to land, right to water, right to housing, and all that. We have to really ensure that our policy recommendations are strongly grounded in the human rights framework. Thank you. For addressing the issue of rural depopulation and rural-urban migration, and quite related to that is questioning the issue of rapid urbanization paradigm. We do not want to make an assumption that urbanization will continue, because we know very well it is based on economic interest and policy priorities put forward by actors. And when we refer to rural transformation, it is important to highlight the issue of access to land and other productive resources that include water. And related to the issue of access to land and employing a gender lens, we are recalling the CFS youth policy recommendations that have on the importance of redistributive reforms for food producers to access land, both in urban areas, peri-urban areas, and also particularly the rural areas, by appreciating that urban food systems are not in isolation, but they are also connected to rural areas in the context of rural transformation. The second point is on the importance of public finance. These policies have to be followed by public finance that are clear on the interest that we want to implement the policy priorities to support the right food. When we receive the public finance, it has to be tied to implementing programs that support directly the right to food and not other interests that will undermine the overall goal that we are doing, that is to eradicate hunger and poverty. Thank you very much.